Big thanks to Kyle, KA5D, for letting us use the system for this net. Please visit the University Link Repeater System website to learn more. That's KA5D.com. You can also reach us via Echolink by connecting to KA5DR. And for AllStar, use node 40933.
So, me there. This net is called the Weekend Windown for a reason. How was your weekend?
Well, Ernesto, this weekend was traveling and a few other things. So we drove up to Fort Worth to see my dad and braved the heat. Apparently, we're in a bizarro world because up north, 3 hours from here, it was 111 degrees, a lot hotter than Austin. So while up there, I did experience a few culinary events, if you want to call them that. So the first culinary experience I had this weekend, I can never order a flat noodle that is always my favorite at the variety of Vietnamese or Korean or Chinese food restaurants we always go to, and I always want a flat noodle, and I can never order it correctly. I never know the name. But this weekend, I actually found a flat noodle dish that I loved. And then last night, Saturday night, we took Dad to a Mexican restaurant in Fort Worth, and he loves seafood, and so we took him to a Mexican seafood place, and I ordered ceviche, and ceviche is a very interesting kind of dish because it has raw fish. So it's not like sushi. Sushi, you can totally tell it's raw. You know, you can feel the gooiness of the fish, and very, very good. But ceviche is not cooked. It's little pieces of fish, or sometimes it's shrimp. And what the recipe calls for is actually cooks in the acid of the lime. And so when you're biting into these little pieces of fish in the ceviche dish, you feel like the fish is cooked, but it's actually raw fish that was just, it turns into cooked fish because of the acid of the lime. And so we had that. And now that Ernesto is such an avid fisherman here in Central Texas, I need to learn how to make ceviche for when he comes home with his bounty from the pond. So I have another way of cooking fish other than just frying it up, which is delicious, but I definitely want to learn how to make Mexican ceviche. So next time that you're at a Mexican restaurant that has a seafood option and you see ceviche, please try it. I think you're going to love it. And finally, I guess it was all about food for me this weekend, in addition to visiting my dad. But there's a somewhat weird dish that Mexicans love. So the Mexican culinary arts includes dishes that bring in the entire animal. So if you're going to have, beef, you're going to have every piece of that cow. So in different dishes. You're not going to let anything go. And one of the body parts that we enjoy is tripe. And so, yes, it's the tripe, it's the intestine. It's obviously cleaned very well. There's a process where you are going to make sure that it's safe to eat, etc. So you cook it in a certain way. So I found a recipe online. You first boil it, and then you fry it. And you enjoy it in the most delicious tacos, and you have to use the corn tortillas with the yummiest salsa that you can find. And I used to buy it already prepared from places like La Michoacana, but let me tell you, there's nothing like cooking tripe in your home. Weird, I know, totally weird, but next time that you talk with me and maybe we can plan for it, I will make you the most delicious tripe tacos you'll ever have. that was my weekend, Ernesto. I think it was a blast because everyone loves eating. I love eating, and it was all about culinary experiences for me. How about you? How was your weekend?
Hey, Mireya, and everybody on the net, if hopefully people are listening. Weekend was pretty awesome, I would say. On Friday afternoon, I went out and hit the fox for this weekend fox hunt. It took 2 tries because I almost got there the first time and realized that I left the fox at the house. So that was funny, let's say that. Then obviously went to Fort Worth in the late afternoon on Friday to visit Mireya's dad. We basically watched TV and ate delicious food and chill. So I don't know. I would say that my weekend was a blast. I'm curious. I wonder how everybody else's weekend went. Let's call for check-ins, but first let me do a station ID. This is the Weekend Wind Down Net, hosted by Ernesto, KI5PZN, from the 224.100 repeater.
And Mireya, KI5SYX, from the 442.325 repeater.
Sunday nights at 7:30 via the University Link repeater system. So again, we want to know all about your weekend. Any licensed operator is welcome to check in. Please come in with your call sign and name. This is WRQ14 BBS, Rusty, Northwest Austin.
This is KT5 UNK, Doug in North Austin.
This is Kilo 5 Juliet Mike, K5JM, Sam.
All right. Net recognizes Rusty, Doug, and Sam. Thank you guys for calling in, checking in, and not letting us talk to dead air. Mr. Rusty, Zolizet 5 BBS. There's a big sticker here, by the way. There's no way she's gonna miss it. How's your weekend, man?
I had a pretty fantastic weekend, to be quite honest. It was pretty low-key. I got to hang out on Saturday with Rod and Doug and Bill, and we went over to Rod's house and played a little radio, straightened up some coax, and got Rod somewhat, well, as much as in order as you can. So that was fun, and then headed down to my nephew's house and had a game night on Saturday night, so we did a little drinking and hanging out with the nephews. And then on Sunday, I got picked up, and we went and did a little fox hunting, and David and I found your fox hunt, and it was a good spot, but of course, we came in the wrong way, so we had a little bit of walking, so I was kind of a sweaty mess by the end of that, but yeah, got to find the fox. I am completely behind on TV, so I'm just now watching Breaking Bad, and I am in season 5, so I got sucked into the TV a little bit and managed to have a nap today as well. So I have been pretty lazy, fat, and happy. I'm totally jealous of the tripe tacos. So we're going to have to make that happen. I went to La Tapatia on Friday and had tacos. If y'all are up, next time you go to Fort Worth, though, go check out Esperanza's. It's the sister of Joe T. Garcia's, which I think is garbage, but Esperanza's is where it's at. And they got the bakery, and you can get they've got the chicharrones and all the good stuff. So I'm sure you've got some fun spots up north as well, but Esperanza's is definitely one of mine. So yeah, man, good weekend here, and thanks for running the net, guys. This is fun. WZ5 BBS, back to net control.
So hey, dude, I have a bunch of questions, but one of them is, did you go into the? Well, I guess the Fox is not over, so I should not go over the stuff. So let me let me regroup here for a second. All right, well, I'm not going to ask about that because I just realized that might be some guys out there still looking for it. Dude, sorry we missed our church on Friday night. By the time we get there, you know, and everything was all in place, it was too late for us to check in. But sorry we missed it. It sounded like there was some fun stuff happening based on the Discord comment. But yeah, dude, let me throw it back at you.
Yeah, we got the Crossroads Ham Radio Club checking in with us on a regular now on trivia. So we've got a lot of people from basically Cuero to Houston, and that's brought a handful of people out. We got a couple of mainstays, but yeah, it's been fun having them. And yeah, trivia was fun. We did. I brought some music stuff back. Leslie, KI5NLC1 trivia on Friday. So congratulations to she and Leonard. And yeah, so trivia was a whole lot of fun, and we missed you. It's been a while since you even made it from Puerto Rico, man. So I was expecting y'all to make that happen last night.
Oh no, I had no idea that one of the trivia sections was music. What was the theme for music, just so that we know?
It was all about music that came out of Detroit. So it was, it was kind of a finite question, but there was all kinds of fun stuff. And yeah, if you knew anything about the Music City, then you would have been on top of it. Although you do really well, period. So I got no doubt.
Okay, well, maybe we would have totally sucked at that. Every time that you have a topic that we think we know about, then we realize we don't know anything about it because you asked totally obscure questions, and we probably would have sucked at that. But I actually did have a little bit of a musical weekend, now that you reminded me. I'm practicing the guitar, and I listened to the music on my guitar. And I also practiced Rambling Man, which both of them were so fun to play. And so, yeah, that was my part of my weekend, too. Guitar practice and musical as well. But so sorry that we missed the trivia. I know. We were so far away. We made it from Puerto Rico, and we can't make it from Fort Worth. But that tells you how much fun we're having with my dad, too. So thank you for checking in today. Rusty, WZ5BBS. Any comments for Rusty? I have a comment for Rusty. Rusty, when you are cooking at home and you are experimenting with Mexican cuisine, what is your go-to food that you like to replicate at home that you usually order at the restaurant?
Well, it's pretty white boy, but I'm going to have to go with breakfast tacos. And I know that that's not really, Mexican cuisine, but I like making, I'm horrible at making, but Grandma taught me how to make homemade tortillas, so I'll bring that out every so often if I don't go get the heat and eat at the HEB. I get the ones that you got to cook first. But that's pretty much, my go-to at the house really is breakfast. That's what I cook. And as far as, like really good Mexican food, I really that's where La Tapatia comes in. I didn't get taught how to make good Mexican food, but I got taught how to enjoy good Mexican food. So I'm with you, Dad. I like Mexican seafood. I like the ceviche as well. So I eat pretty much anything and everything. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't have many really good Mexican recipes except tacos, and that's pretty lame.
No, Rusty, not lame, because you and I are going to join forces. You make the homemade tortillas, I'll make what's going in the tortillas, and we're going to rock that Mexican house. All right, thanks, Rusty. Have a great night.
All right. It's radio. We're going to check now with Doug, KG5UNK. Hey, Doug, what's going on, man? How's your weekend treating you?
Oh man, pretty good. Started out with my sister-in-law had to come up here for work, so she brought her kid, our niece, and she hung out with us for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and we did went to Dave and Buster's one afternoon, and then we did geocaching. Couple times we went out and found I think we ended up with probably about 8 or 10 geocaches total, and then in between there we had some little driving lessons going on. She's 14, ready to get her driver's license, but no one's willing to teach her how to drive good, so that was left up to me. Then, Saturday morning went over to Rod's house, helped those guys out, straightened up some cables, and just did a little wiring over there. And then today was race day, so I watched the F1 race, and then this afternoon I went out and searched for the fox, and that was it was a convenient one for me this time. I appreciate that. Anyway, that's about it. KG5, UNK, back to net.
All right, dude, that sounds like a pretty awesome weekend. I was going to ask Rusty earlier, and I kind of forgot when I started thinking about the fox and all that shenanigans, but so did you guys put all of the antennas that Rod needed up and running?
No, didn't really put any antennas up at all. This was ended up being a cable search, searching out coax, labeling coax, which coax went where, and that's basically what it came down to. Got him hooked up with a switch, his amplifiers all in line, switch for his antennas, and I think that was pretty much it.
He has all of the antennas that he needed up and running, sounds like.
Man, he's got at least 2 that he needs. He needs someone that'll climb up the tower. I know one of them he wants up really high.
Well, that's probably going to require a pro, because I've seen those antennas, and I have no idea, but that's got to be somewhere between 60 and 100 feet tall. It's my guess. What do you think?
Yeah, 75 to 100 easy, and maybe if I was let's say back in the 80s. Or even the mid-90s, that would have been considered. But yeah, I'm not climbing up that thing. I'll go up 20 feet, no problem. And I don't have a consideration for that high. But man, I'm not climbing higher than that. It just needs someone that'll got the harness and can climb up there and bolt up an antenna. I think he just wants it to that he's got a little 5-element beam that he wants put together and get mounted, and then he's got another dipole that he wants mounted.
That's very nice of you guys. I think for those two antennas that need to be put up there, we'll just send Rusty up there. I'm sure he'll just climb up there like a cat in no time. I don't do those type of things. I don't climb anything. I'm afraid of heights. I give you the GVs. But yeah, dude, and did you take your niece fox hunting?
No, man, it didn't get placed before she left. They left around noonish, and I think it showed up a little bit after that. I wish we could have done that because she digs the geocache, so this is kind of the same thing. She likes to go for the hunt, and this one's a little different, and that's one thing I haven't taught her yet is how to do this. So that would have been cool, but man, just it didn't work this time.
Let me know next time that she's around, and we'll put it up, even if it's midweek, so you guys can go out and have some fun. And I'm sure she'll get a kick out of that.
Yeah, well, we all did kind of evenly between the three of us finding the geocaches this weekend, and today it was one of those interesting ones to where I walked right by it. I had my handheld, and I had walked just right by it, and I quickly realized that even walking a little ways, it was too much with that antenna I have on my handheld. So it would be interesting. She definitely likes the hunt, but she also likes to be dropped on the spot,
Yeah, dude, it's fun. It's I think that the same thing happened to me last weekend on the Fox, where I literally just walked by like a couple times and just started laughing once I saw it. But thanks for playing, dude, and thanks again for checking in. Do we have any comments or questions for Doug? Come in with your call sign.
I have a comment for Doug, or a question actually. So my first experience with hunting for anything urban was actually a geocache a few years ago with one of our friends. And it was very fun because, they're looking it up on their phone, and it's like, okay, it's here, we're walking, and it's a few blocks down the road, and then we get to the geocache, and it's hidden under a coffee shop deck. And we're like, whoa, this is weird. There's people, just eating and drinking right there, and there's this treasure hidden under their feet under the deck. And so we get there, we collect it, and it's a jar, a glass jar, and it has these funky things in there. So people leave treasures, like puzzle pieces and a picture of something and a little art piece. So I wonder, what was the most interesting thing that you found with your niece while geocaching? What was inside the treasure chest that you guys most enjoyed finding?
Well, so we haven't done a whole lot with her that have had, trinkets in it and things. We did one Friday morning we did one, and that may have been her first one with that type of stuff in it. Most of the ones that we've done, especially when she was little, we made them kind of easy, and so we did a lot of parking lot stuff, and then actually one of her first ones was out in the woods, but as we started doing more, they've gotten harder and more difficult to find, and we've moved up. But the funny thing is, they're always real tiny ones. They're bison tubes or something something small, and there's no trinkets in there. The best one we did was in New Orleans. You had to go into a building, speak a secret phrase, and then a phone call was made. A strange man came out of a room. He told you to follow him. He took you up to the very top of the building in a machine room, and there was a giant work Joe box, a great big work toolbox, and it was just full of all kinds of New Orleans stuff. KG5 UNK.
That sounds amazing and terrifying. So, yeah, finding a treasure like that, you know, there's a lot of energy behind it. There's planning. There's someone that has this idea, and they are going to do this and that, and then they're going to do it for the people that are doing the treasure hunt, and they're going to fill it with all these cool things. And it's so exciting to be the person that places the treasure for the hunters, and definitely exciting to find it. But what you're describing is something that would be like the, you know, recipe for the perfect murder mystery. You get to that top floor of that New Orleans old school building, and suddenly you're dead. So, man, I'm glad you guys survived that one. I'm sure it wasn't anything macabre or anything like that. It's just me. I'm a fan of murder mysteries, but that's what it sounds like to me.
It was kind of mysterious, but this is, you know, printed, you know, out in the public. Well, I say out in the public on their public website. So the information is available, but it was kind of weird. It was kind of strange because the guy didn't really say anything, and you know, it's just kind of like one of those, okay, follow me, and so you follow him, and once we got up there and he showed us what it was, you know, we knew, we went through it. I don't remember if we really grabbed any. Oh, I grabbed a travel bug. So they have these dog tag looking items, and you pick them up from one location, and you're supposed to move them to another location. So I transported it from Louisiana, New Orleans to San Antonio, and there I left it, and then from there it moved on somewhere else. But yeah, and then after that, the guy was real friendly. He offered to take us up to the roof and let us look off, to get on top of the roof of the building and look around the city of New Orleans. So all in all, it was probably the most memorable, and it was I wouldn't say scary, but the most interesting.
Sounds exciting and so fun. That is the type of treasure hunt that I love. Thank you, Doug, for sharing tonight. Any final comments for Doug?
Right, nothing heard. We're going to go and check with Sam, but before Sam, sorry, I got to do a station ID real quick. We're kind of behind on that one. This is the Weekend Windown Net, hosted by Ernesto, KI5PZN, from the 224.100 repeater.
And Mireya, KI5SYX, from the 442.325 repeater.
Sunday night at 7 p.m. via the University Link repeater system. Let's go now and check with Sam. Sam, thank you so much for waiting. I hope you're still there. K5JM, come in, man. How was your weekend?
This is K5JM. Sam, hey, Ernesto and Maria. Things are going good here. Thanks for running the net, and I'd say this weekend has been a blast so far. Got some stuff done yesterday, did a couple of errands, and a couple of fun things around the house, and got to see a friend. And also, it's been the VHF UHF contest this weekend. So I've had a chance to just casually work that, and especially on 6 meters, working into some new grid squares in the Midwest and into Florida. So that was on the sideband MCW, then also locally working some contacts on FM. So yeah, overall it's been a good weekend so far. I'm just listening to the net here and hooking up the water sprinkler here in the backyard, going to water the yard. It definitely needs it. So that's about it so far this weekend. So it's been pretty good. A little bit of productivity, a little bit of fun. K5JM, back to net.
Right on, dude. Well, it sounds like a fun weekend, for sure. I didn't get to do any radio this weekend. I know the contest was going on and kind of forgot about it. I keep forgetting that I'm using this Jetstream 220. I need to keep this microphone far away from my face. I'm sure it was overmodulated for a long time. But all right, so yeah, I didn't do any of that, but I'm glad you got to do some of the contest. I have a question for you. What's your opinion on those tribes that Mireya was talking about, the fried tribes? I'm curious.
I think I maybe missed some of that, what she was talking about. Is that the ceviche stuff?
No, the ceviche is the seafood that is raw and it's presented to the person that's going to eat it, but after it's been kind of soaked in the lime and the acidity kind of cooks the meat. But we were talking earlier about actually cow tripe, and it's the intestines. So he's asking you, what do you think about eating cow intestines in tacos?
Oh, okay. Thanks, Mireya, for that clarification. Well, I'll start off first with when you were talking about the ceviche, I was turning green. Yeah, I'm not a fan of seafood or anything, especially uncooked fish of any kind. And yeah, I guess I am kind of a gringo, but yeah, the cow intestine, not my thing. Nor would like something like menudo or any of that. Just but I do appreciate most other Mexican dishes. Just the simple things like tacos and things with beef and chicken, just all those kinds of staples. And yeah, almost the rusty, the breakfast tacos, could eat those every day. So yeah, that's my story.
I'm kind of glad that Ernesto asked you that question because many years ago, Ernesto and I have been a couple for 20 years. And when we first started dating, I shared a little bit about our cuisine that we enjoy in the beautiful country of Mexico. And one of them includes turkey butts. Yes, it's a turkey butt. It actually is featured in a very, very famous song, by the Eagles. At the beginning of the song called Hotel California, those guys from the Eagles sing the triumphs of Mexican cuisine by saying that there is a smell of colitas in the air. And let me tell you, that is one of the most delicious foods you're going to eat. Yes, it's a turkey butt. But so I said, Ernesto, I would like for you to try this dish, and we really love it in Mexico. It's actually a turkey butt. He said, no, absolutely not. I will never try that dish. It's weird. Why would you ever eat that? Etc., etc., etc. Well, guess what I did? My mom and my auntie were visiting that weekend, and I said, Mom and Auntie, let's go to Fiesta and buy some turkey butts. And we did. And guess what? We made the most delicious meal. We cooked it up, and it was a wonderful stew-type kind of fried and stew. You have to be there to experience it. But it's very, very delicious. And what we do is we put it in a bolillo, which is a white bun, and you make a torta with the turkey butt, and you put all the veggies in there, avocado, lettuce, tomato, and the most yummiest salsa you can find, and you make it into this yummy torta. Ernesto was invited to our lunch, and he had two or three tortas. He was like, man, this is the most delicious food. I love it. And yes, I'll admit, I said it was pork. He's used to pork. He likes pork. I said, you're going to have the yummiest tortas you've ever had. And he said they were delicious. After he said, I loved it. It was wonderful. Thank you for inviting me to this lunch with these yummy tortas. And then I said, well, I'm glad you enjoyed the turkey butt tortas. He was shocked and said, okay, I will admit it. That was delicious. So he tried something that he was uncomfortable with. It sounds yucky, but it was delicious. And remember, we're going to use every part of an animal that we can, just because we're going to be thankful about having that animal available, and we're going to make the best out of that meat. So anyway, I think that, Sam, in your future, Rusty's going to make the tortillas. I'm going to make the meat filling, and you're going to be invited to a Mexican extravaganza of culinary delight.
Well, thank you, Maria, for that wonderful story. And you're right, yeah, it is good to stay open-minded. I never thought, thinking back to the Eagles song, the Hotel California, the smell of things like calitas, I always thought that was a flower or some kind. I didn't know that was some kind of food. So there you go, learn something new every day. And thanks so much for that. K5JM, back to Ned.
Thanks for your participation tonight, Sam. Any comments for Sam?
AG5UNK.
Come on in, UNK, Doug.
Sam, so just curious if you ended up making any 220 contacts.
Hey, great question, Doug. I have to go back and look. I think there was, I think it may have just been you or one other. No, interesting. I worked George, and he had 220 available, but his transverter would only go up to 222, so I was able to tune down to 222, and I was listening for him. And he was pushing a kilowatt of power on a beam my direction, although he's horizontally polarized, but I never heard him. So obviously, I think the radio I have, the sensitivity is probably not the best, but then also terrain and then being on the wrong polarity probably also didn't help anything. So, so good to know from Dripping Springs to here, a kilowatt of power on 220 on horizontal was not enough, although we worked on 2 meters okay. He was a bit scratchy there. So, curious if you had worked any other 220.
No, I didn't. I didn't hear a single person. And I've, in the past contest I have, so that's why I was curious if you were able to make any other. That was it. KG5UNK.
Okay, thanks, Doug. Well, yeah, definitely the sideband bug for VHF UHF has bitten me So I am curious to get on 220 sideband and all those other things. So maybe for the next contest or two, I'll be there. Anyways, back to net. K5JM.
All right, well, thank you, Sam, for checking in, too. I guess one comment on that conversation about strange food. Yeah, it's taken me a long time to get used to all those strange things. And there are things that I just, won't eat, unless I'm tricked into it, of course. But yeah, it's been fun. I've discovered all kinds of weird stuff, and I guess that's helped me whenever I go to other places to try their weird stuff. So it's been fun. But thanks again for checking in. We're gonna do another. Let me do another station ID because it's been a while and I keep forgetting. This is the Weekend Windown Net, hosted by Ernesto, KI5PZN, from the 224.100 repeater.
And Mireya, KI5SYX, from the 442.325 repeater.
Sunday nights at 7:30 via the University Link repeater system. Anybody out there who would like to check in to tonight's net, come in with your call sign and name.
This is Alpha India 5, Oscar Sierra, Justin, in North Austin.
Hey, Justin, it's good to hear from you. How's your weekend?
The weekend wasn't bad. Like I said, my weekend's now starting. This is my Saturday night. Although I did play hooky a little bit yesterday, I went to breakfast with the guys, and I ordered a couple of mini VNAs. Well, I ordered a mini VNA from Amazon and got a 2-for-1 special. In other words, they sent me 2 of them when I only ordered 1. So I have an extra one. So I have been trying to figure out how I tell the difference between the different loads in this thing, because there are some little lugs that you can screw on that are like a 50 ohm load, short, and an open, and I'm trying to figure out, well, which one is which? How can I make this work? And trying to figure out, because I need to figure out what's going on with my antenna. So I have been trying to figure this out, and so that's been interesting. I also managed to go out tonight with some and have some Korean fried chicken, which was really good. Actually, a little place up here called K-Pub, Korean fried chicken. I'm going to reset. And then I also I worked a bit. I've worked a bit of 6 meters, and I think I made about a total of 45 contacts, and I wasn't really working too hard on the contest, but I made about 45 contacts on 6 meters, and then I think I ended up working some on 440 and a couple on 1.2, so that was kind of fun, just to play with that. I'm trying to see if I can scheme and get, see if I'm going to try to move my vertical over tomorrow a couple of feet, because it's playing weird on 40, and I found out today on 10. But I have to chuckle because I heard the story about Mexican food here. I'm going to reset. My late wife was Mexican, right? And she lived in New Zealand for many years, and she came back up to Texas to Lampasas, where she was from. Well, I sat down to meet her family when we were first dating, and I remember, she had just come back from New Zealand, and her mom said, "Hey," in Spanish, she's like, "Girlfriend, you've gained a few pounds since you've been across the sea." And she said this in Spanish, and I said, "¿Cómo se dice I don't recall the phrase, but she went, "Oh my God, you know Spanish," and it really kind of got a big laugh. So I can totally relate. And as for green tripe in a fried taco, absolutely. Julia's family was from Guadalajara, and yeah, it's pretty tasty. I think they were from Churrasco was the state, or Jurasco. I can't recall, but yeah, I've had it, and it is absolutely delicious. This is AI5OS.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad you got to do some radio and do some of the contests. Again, like I was saying earlier, I didn't get to do any radio this weekend. It's funny looking at the Mexican food from outside. I'm Hispanic as well, but I'm from Puerto Rico, and that's a totally different place when it comes to food. That's way different spices, and it's just totally different. They're Mexican. It's their own world, and it's delicious. Everything is delicious, but it's so many, and then the regions, because each region have their own flavor too. I'm happy that that's the country that we're close to, and that's the delicious food that we get to eat. Anybody have a comment for Justin? Come in with your call sign.
I have a comment for Justin. Oh, do we have a double? Thank you, Justin, for checking in tonight. And yes, we have some weird food going on. But like I said earlier, when you have one cow and you want to make sure you use every inch of that cow, everything from its hide to the brain to the intestines, and of course all the protein parts, which everyone is used to. But I think the interesting parts are the weird things like the brain and the intestines. Yes, we eat that, and we made a fabulous dish out of that. So I'm glad that you experienced that as well, and that you tasted some of the spicy foods that we create from all of the parts of an animal. Did you have the cow tripe before? Tell us that.
Yeah. I've had green tripe before, and it's pretty. I mean, it's not bad. It's funny thing is I used to feed my dogs. I have a seeing eye dog, but a couple of guide dogs ago, I had a German Shepherd named Shadow, and there was a big rage on this, what they call the BARF diet, the biologically appropriate raw food diet. Well, at that point they had also, you would feed green tripe, because green tripe also does give some extra micronutrients for dogs. In this case, it did. Well, one of the folks who I would get tripe from said, "Hey, you can cook this stuff and eat it yourself too, And I had the chance to sample it. I was like, "Oh wow, yeah, it is. It's not bad. It's messy. It is messy to prepare, but no, it is. It is definitely edible." There, go ahead.
Justin, I agree. So when I went to La Michoacana this weekend, when I was visiting my dad in Fort Worth, I requested from the butcher. I said I would like 8 pounds of the cow tripes, and they were shocked. They like even the person that's selling this stuff thought it was weird. And I said, yes, I do want that 8 pounds of the cow tripe. And so she gave it to me, and she gave it to me in a big bag, and I paid for it, and I went home. It's a big block of tripe, and it's frozen and all that. But we boiled it. You boil it first, because, and then you get, if it's a big, you can just imagine a big blob of just food like meat, but then it turns into this very small little pieces of meat, which is perfect. And then you fry it, and it turns into this very delicious, perfectly seasoned. I have to say, I love seasoning meat. The seasoning part is the key of how well a meat is going to taste. You have to have a seasoning process. So I boiled this tripe. It's boiling. It has a little salt in the water, and it's boiling and boiling. And then I take it out, and I drain the water, and then I put it in this flat surface, and then I season it with cumin, salt, pepper, all the yummy seasonings that you would think that would go into a meat seasoning recipe, and that's what I do. 8 pounds turns into like 2 pounds. So then we fry it up. We put it in tacos. We put a little bit of avocado, delicious pre-made salsa, and then you have a corn tortilla, and you have the most delicious tripe tacos, and they're crunchy. So yes to tripe tacos, yes to seasoning them beautifully, and yes to promoting using the entire animal when you are eating meat, because, you know, we want to make sure that when we're eating meat, we want to make sure that we're having the whole animal, that we are mindful of the fact that an animal was killed for this experience, and that we want to make sure that we are taking advantage of the energy that was behind this animal. And so, yes, that's what this is all about. And by the way, it's delicious. Okay, any comments for Justin? AI5 OS. Okay, nothing heard.
Anybody out there wants to come in as a late check-in? Come in with your call sign and name. All right, nothing heard. I think it's time to wrap it up.
thank you for joining us tonight on the Weekend Windown Net. We hope that even if your weekend was a bust, and definitely if your weekend was a blast, that we all keep the momentum and focus on positive, and here's to a great week.
We'd like to thank Kyle, KA5D, for letting us use the University Link Repeater System. Please visit the University Link Repeater System website to learn more. That's KI5D.com. I'm Ernesto, KI5PZN, using the 224-100 repeater.
And I'm Mireya, KI5SYX, using the 441.325 repeater. And from our QTH in East Austin, 73. And thanks again for participating and listening tonight. The system is now returned to regular amateur use.
Mireya, I have a question. I'm just kind of curious there. This is AI5OS.
Come on in, Justin.
Is your name Mireya? Is that just a variation on Maria, or is there actually a different meaning behind that? Because I mean, Maria obviously is the Spanish translation of Mary, Mother of God. So I was just kind of curious about the inflection that's on your name. It doesn't sound like that it's obviously spelled M-A-R-I-A there. Go ahead.
Yes, it is a variation from Maria. And yes, you can use Maria, M-Y-R-E-L-L-A, Maria, to, I guess, call me out or say, hey, Mireya, I'm calling you out. But it is a variation of Maria.
Okay, gotcha. No, that makes sense. I haven't seen it spelled that way before. It was funny because my voiceover, which is on my computer, in its total gringo way of doing it, it calls you Morella. When I looked your call up on QRZ, and then I noticed the different spelling, and it was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. You know, the double L making the Y phoneme. So I was just kind of curious as to how that worked, if that was just a variant of Maria, or if that actually translates to something different.
I think that it just phonetically it is Maria because of the double L, but historically, I guess it is a variant of Maria. But I appreciate you calling out the fact that it is Maria from a variant of the double L. Thank you so much.
No problem. I'm a bit of a nerd, so I just kind of find that the whole fascinating thing about how words are put together in different languages. I find it kind of fascinating. So I had to ask because it was there and it kind of stuck out. And I said, no, there's got to be something behind this. So thanks for filling up my curiosity here.
Thank you, Justin. In fact, I have been circling with that the whole time I've been in the United States with the double L. The double L is something difficult for people to, I guess, grapple with. The double L is a Y, and usually it's a difficult thing to get with. So it's me, they, ya, with the double L. That sounds like a Y, and then the R, which is rolled. So, anyway, thank you for calling that out, and have a great night tonight.
Oh, no problem at all. And y'all have a good night too. I enjoy coming in here listening to your net there. So, thank you much. Y'all have a good one, and as I always say, don't let the worst of us get the best of you.
Hey Mireya, you should have asked all the Weros if they like breakfast sausage. You know, that link sausage. I have a feeling more people have had intestines than they know.
Yes, I agree. People don't realize that the sausage is an intestine. Thank you, Rusty.
You bet. This is fun. Sorry I missed last week, but this is fantastic, and it's officially on the calendar now, so I look forward to this next week. Y'all have fun. We'll see you later. WZ5BBS.
Thanks, Rusty. Thank you for coming in and talking with us. WZ5BBS. Thank you for joining us tonight and for contributing to our net.
I try and still. Try with the sticker, Rusty, but she still skipped the Z this time.
I was in the kitchen getting a refill, Ernesto. What'd you say?
No, I was just joking around that even though I put that sticker for Mireya, she still skipped the Z this last time she said your call sign. I'm like, Jesus.
No, she did. She said WZ5. She didn't say WZ5, but she totally got it right. So I've got some stickers over here as well. We'll get it. So until then, this is KC14BBS. We'll holler at y'all later.
All right, man. 73 to you and all the guys who were hanging out.
KC14 BBS come from?
That's a joke. It's because Mireya was running the net last Thursday night, and there's something with Rusty's call sign that for whatever reason Mireya's brain can't grasp. I mean, she gets all weird call signs that are really, to me, are difficult, and that she doesn't have any problems with. But with Rusty, she always changes it, and I think last time she called him like AI5A BBS or something like that. She always calls him with a different call sign.
That's funny. Well, people get mine messed up. Some people think that I'm KI5OS. No, I'm AI5OS. And it's a purely vanity call because of whom I work for. So I had to get it because I couldn't get something that was more significant. So, yeah, I get the same thing.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I still mess it up here and there. I'm still New Ham, and it's hard for me sometimes to get the call sign. But I think one of the things about running this net is that it helps me with that. I know that's kind of crazy. It's like whatever you're you're really bad at, then just jump at it, and then that'll make you get better at it. So yeah, I'm having issues. I always have issues memorizing and copying the call sign, but I figure if I do enough nets, the assumption is that I should get better. So we'll see in a couple of years. CAF5PZN.
Sounds like a new call. It sounds like a new call. Yeah, well, welcome to the hobby. Not sure how long you've been licensed, but no, it is a fun hobby to be in. And oh man, there's more stuff to do in this hobby than you could ever possibly imagine. So I totally get it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I got my license back last May, and Mireya got hers in last December. So we're pretty new. We just don't care, I guess. Here we are running nets without knowing nothing about ham radio.
Well, that's okay. That's how you learn, right? So, I mean, that's how you learn. I mean, I'm still relatively new to HF. I mean, I've been off and on, but some of these guys are far outstretched me, and the problem is I've been a ham long enough that I look at this stuff and I go, ooh, I want to try it. Ooh, this is fun. And I wish I had some of the practical building experience that some of these folks have about antennas and this and that and the other. I mean, I got my extra to solve the problem because I was tired of being on HF and going, I don't want people telling me I'm out of band, so I got my extra. And, I mean, the code, the CW part of it was much easier than theory ever was. So it's all just a process. But, no, glad to see y'all on. I think this is great.
Well, thank you. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, same here. As soon as I got my general, I found myself pressing the button on the wrong side of the band a couple of times. I didn't get yelled at, but I'm older. I don't like people yelling at me, and so I just went ahead and did it, passed it just so that people can't yell at me for pressing the button on the wrong. They might yell at me for not knowing what I'm doing, but not for pressing the button on the wrong side of the band.
Yeah, that happens. And it is what it is. And I will tell you, if you ever have the experience, and it is worth putting up an antenna for, you have to get on 80 meters. Not because there is anything amazing about it, but because, there is TV, and everybody loves to watch TV, and, there's all manner of content. But then there's the 80-meter ham band in this region. And why would you pay for a cable TV subscription when you can listen to that? And that's all I got to say about that. But I will tell you that it is quite entertaining.
Oh, I'm with you. I have 80, but the only one that I don't have access right now, and my radios do it, but I don't have an antenna. It's 160. But I do listen to 80 meters a lot. 39, 16 net that goes from like 7 until I don't know how long. But there's always stuff going on and chit chat everywhere. It's kind of reminds me of 11 meters, but with order, I guess. There's people talking about all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, that's the nature of 80 meters. And even more fun is if you ever listen to 3870 or 3900 early in the morning. That gets really interesting. So yeah, no, that's my goal. Is I just need to get 80 meters up, get 40 fixed on my vertical, and 80 my 80 meter in-fed wire up, and I'll be good. I'm not expecting that I'll have 160, but that's okay. That's okay. I've got every other band covered.
Did you say that you have the 80-meter antenna up, or that you are going to?
I'm going to try to get it put back up. Trying to get my 80 meter. I have a long wire for 80, and I'm going to see if I can try to get that up and get the 40 meter part of my vertical fixed. And I will. I'll have, excluding 160, I'll have all the major ham bands covered.
All right on. Well, if you need help with that antenna, let me know. You can shoot me an email if you want to. My email is my call sign KI5PZN@gmail, and we can schedule something. I can't climb towers and stuff like that, but an end fed I can use a slingshot or something to get her over a tree or something. Just let me know. Shoot me an email, man. I'm around.
I think I got some help getting that going. So it's all coming together. It'll just be nice once that once it all gets up and gets back together, because I did buy a new amp. Well, I traded for an amp, and it will be nice to. I like a wire antenna better than I do a vertical. They're not as noisy. Although I have worked some really good DX on this vertical. I just need to get it tuned a little better, I think, because I think the 40 meter trap is, the 40 meter section of the antenna is a little weird, so just got to get that all straightened out. I may try to do that tomorrow and see what happens. But no, thanks for listening to my hot air. Appreciate you guys putting up with me.
Oh, no, dude, it's a pleasure, and thank you again for calling in and hanging out with us tonight. But yeah, like I said, if you need any help with that, NFED, just shoot me an email and we'll put something together. Have a good night, man. 73s. It's KI5PZN.
73s. I appreciate it. This is AI5OS.
Whiskey 5, Whiskey Tango Hotel listening.